Hello gang, welcome back to the channel. I've got on my little setup here, I'll show you. The Poulan Pro 655. Now this saw was not a boost port saw, however, I do have a boost port cylinder for it. Don't worry, I'll show you up close here in a second. But first let's go over the numbers. I don't know if this has been woods ported or not. I got it as a used one from a guy that I'm not supposed to talk about. A lot of people like to be secret in this little world of ours. But nah, I don't think anything's been done to this. I don't think so. But anyways, let's get on with it, get the video started. I have already gotten the numbers for this, and very contrary to what I would have thought. Let's put it that way. Like I said, I'm not 100% certain that this has not been ported, but I don't think that it has. And I'll show you the reason why I'm questioning it here shortly. But the intake, well, there is no intake number because this is a reed saw. So the reed saw, it is the reeds themselves that is stopping the intake port from flowing whenever it's not supposed to, right? So there is no intake timing at all. So if this saw wants to pull fuel, then it will pull fuel. If it doesn't, then the reeds close off. Do I have something on me? But anyways, the exhaust fell at 96 degrees. Boop, right from factory. It looks like it's from factory, which is a very high exhaust roof, even for a 100cc saw. I think these are 98 cc's, but yeah, that's a high exhaust roof. Moving on, transfers. Transfers opened at 116. What? And then the boost port opened at 118. So was not expecting those kind of numbers with this thing. Also, there was something else. Oh, the squish. Squish is not bad at all. With the gasket in place, the squish is 40 thousandths of an inch. So that, and I measured the old gasket. It's around here somewhere. I don't know. But I measured the old gasket, and what I came up with was 13 thousandths of an inch. And so that means with just a base gasket delete, you would have a squish of approximately 27 thousandths of an inch, which is not bad at all. So I can see if you just simply took this cylinder and removed the base gasket, it would give you a nice little performance increase, and you wouldn't have to touch that combustion chamber. It also has a pretty small combustion chamber considering it's a 100cc saw. So yeah, it's a quad port design with the extra boost ports. So now let's get into showing you the cylinder itself. All right, this is the setup. There are your quad transfers, and that right there is your boost port. So just slightly after the side transfers come on, that boost port comes on and pushes the exhaust out the exhaust. The spent fuel's out the exhaust. You can see the boost port right there, real nice. Boop. See? Yeah. All right, so what I want you to look at are those transfers. It does kind of look like they've been hit, doesn't it? Nah, that's casting marks. That's casting. But look how, man, that's crazy. The plating is above the transfers. The old cylinder, let's do the exact same viewpoint with it. This is the non-boost ported cylinder. I want to see if we can see. Yeah, you see how those transfers, on the left one there, you can see a little bit of a step, right? Let's take a closer look in here. That's them. So they have a step right there that I bet you if you ground that off, it would really help things out quite a bit. You know, that step is actually pretty high. And boy, rough transfers. Look at that. You know. But this is the old one. And now this thing ran pretty much like crap, if you ask me. Really was completely unimpressed with that. But that is largely due to two reasons. Number one, here's the piston from it. Okay, now I had done a little trick to give it more compression because I thought, oops, that's a washer, need that. I thought that the rings were stuck in this, and I was totally right. What I did was I let it soak in WD-40 for like 3 days or something like that, and that loosened up the top ring, but the bottom ring was still stuck pretty bad. And still there was enough carbon buildup on the exhaust side, and look, there's a little bit of damage to that piston right there on the exhaust side. The ring was stuck really bad, the bottom one. It probably would have loosened up had I continued to run it and actually use the saw. But whenever I first got this saw, whenever I ran it, it only had 110 psi of compression. And then after I loosened up those rings a little bit with the WD-40 soaking, we got it up to about 120, maybe 125, which is still too low. It is too low. So, but I will be looking to sell this old one that is non-boost port and the piston. So I think that it's completely usable. You might need to source a new set of rings, or I mean, I haven't decided. I've got a new set of rings, but I don't. They're hard to come by, so I don't want to let go of the rings just yet because I might break a ring and need a ring. So, anyways, if you're interested in that cylinder, holler at me and we can work something out. But the other thing that is really limiting this saw, I think, put that right back there, is this is your reed setup. It's a single pedal reed. That's it up in there. Let's see if I can get it to move. Sticking my finger up in there. That's what it does. Whenever the piston goes up, it creates a pressure differential. And then the outside 14.7 psi, which is absolute pressure, will force air through that. It's a common misconception that the piston is sucking. It's not. It's creating a drop in pressure. And whenever that pressure inside the crankcase drops, then the outside air pushes through. See what I'm saying? So, but if you want to look at it as sucking, there's no harm in that. I'm just a stickler for it because I used to teach airflow dynamics, and so yeah, I'm a stickler for it. But you got that one single little reed, and then it's all going through that little teeny tiny hole. And then it goes out of that little teeny tiny hole and directly into this huge voluminous crankcase. So we go from this into that. So clearly that is a problem, right? That big old drop, you know, from this small little tunnel into that big gargantuan cave will rob all of your flow. Like all of it. So these things are massively undercarbed. Yeah, because you got a big, huge, voluminous crankcase. You got to fill it up. And as soon as you go from that little teeny tiny intake into this big old cavern, no, you can't fill it up at higher RPMs. At lower RPMs, it does just fine, you know, but once you get up into the higher RPMs, if you got a setup like that, trash. I mean, you can't get any RPMs. But now, I'm saying that, I know that there are some people that have built some nice ones, and they run pretty good. But I'm looking to really kick this thing up. I want to kick it right in the nuts and make it run as fast as I can. So we're wanting all the power that's available to us with 98 cc's, and we want it at really high RPMs. In order to do that, we need to fill that voluminous crankcase as quickly as possible. And that's going to require really just one thing. A big honking carburetor. So let me grab the carb that came off of it. It's got a WG carb set up. There's your little intake. And there's the engine side. We're looking to switch it out to something. Honestly, I think even this is small. This is a steel 880 carburetor. All right. I have right here a 3120 carburetor. All right. They're pretty close. I think that the 3120 carburetor is a little bit bigger. I'll measure that here in a second, but I'm not certain. It definitely looks bigger, but I don't know. I also have this option, which is an old Tillotson. What do they call these? HD, I think. HL. But it's smaller than that 3120 for sure. So let me do some measuring here right quick. The stock carburetor, 20.35 millimeters. The 880 carburetor, now let's go this way. This Tillotson carb right here. What was the stock one again? 20.35? Well, now I'm getting 20.5. The Tillotson HL, 25.4. The Steel 880 carburetor, oh, it's smaller than the Tillotson. That's 25.2, 25.3. And then the 3120 carburetor is the king at 27 millimeters. So then that settles it. I will try to use the 3120 carburetor. The only real problem with this thing is it's set up to where this pulls in order to open your butterfly. And the trigger on this 655 pushes. So it shouldn't be a big deal to take this little bit and flip it up or weld onto it. Any number of things, make my own, I don't know, but I'm thinking that I want to use this 3120 carburetor. Now this 3120 carburetor has already been modified. It has the adjustable high jet and low jet. Of course, I think they all have adjustable low jet, but I don't know who modified it. I have another one here, another 3120 carburetor. This right here is a Chinese one though, and this one was already modified by Kevin. Kevin Levan way. Let's see if it's also 27 millimeters. Yep, 27 millimeter. But I think I want to go with the real 3120 carb. I don't know. But yeah, my plan with this is normally I don't like hogging out ports. I don't know, maybe I'll actually just put it all together, make an intake and everything so that I can utilize this and just see how it runs like that. I don't know, because the numbers, man, if I did a base gasket delete, that would probably put my transfers opening at, they're already opening at 116. That might make them open up at like 118, and then the boost port comes on at 120, which sounds pretty good to me. And then it would also set my exhaust probably at 97 instead of 96. Maybe I'll start slow and just do that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Because the idea that it has the boost port in there, it tells me it's got plenty of volume. I don't know. I've never messed with any of these, and these cylinders are like hen's teeth. They're hard to come across. So I don't want to jump right in this and go cutting on this because I might ruin it. You know, you also have to have the right piston. Let me show you that. Where's, oh. So this is the non-boost port piston. All right. And this is the boost port piston. See how it's got that cutaway there? This guy doesn't have it. So that cutaway is what feeds your boost port. Right in there, the flow, whenever this piston's coming down, fuel flows through there and into that boost port. And it even has, like, this is the wrist pin. It's closed off on this side. This is extremely important because if you put this on the same side as the boost port, then that fuel is just going to fill up your wrist pin. No, we don't want that. We want it to come out and block it off so that all of that fuel is forced into the boost port. So, fun stuff, interesting stuff. I don't exactly know what I'm going to do with the cylinder yet, but that's a good thing. This is the learning process. I've never messed with one of these guys, and I'm already enjoying it. This all came apart pretty easy. There was a lot that I had to, there was a lot, and boy, they had, not 3/8, 5/16, 7/16, half inch, 9/16, and 5/8, and flathead. So a lot of different, oh, and 3/16 Allen, or hex, whatever you want to call it. So there's a lot of different sizes of the of all the nuts and bolts and screws and stuff like that. But honestly, it really wasn't that big of a deal to take apart. It wasn't like it was a Mac. Blah. But anyways, yeah, that's the partial game plan. The biggest part of the plan is that I'll have to make a different reed block. And I don't exactly know what I'm going to do with that just yet. I do have one of these here, which this is a reed block setup that you can buy just online. I think maybe it's one of those dealios where it's meant for one of those bicycle motors. Nice little reed block setup. However, again, look how small it is compared to the carburetor that I'm going to put it on. You know, I mean, so that's no bueno. No bueno. So I got to figure out a better reed block setup. And maybe I'll look at stuff for a dirt bike or something. I don't know. I'm open to suggestions. But either way, I think that I'm not going to be able to go wrong because this thing was such a turd to begin with. Things can only get better. You know what I mean? So it's one of those deals. It's like whatever I choose, whatever route I choose to go, it's probably going to make a huge difference. So, and I have my expansion chamber piped 3120. I'm sorry, Husqvarna 2100, and I think that thing got about 11 horsepower. So, which is not good, by the way. If you're thinking, well, that's good, but no, not for an expansion chamber pipe 2100. It's terrible. That's not nearly enough power. So, I mean, that thing should be laying down 15 or 16 horsepower with that expansion chamber pipe on it. People are getting 11 horsepower just on muffler pretty easily, I think. So, anywho, here I am in the midst of it, and I like it. I like doing this stuff. I like doing things differently. So, but if I can get this thing to run as good as my 2100 does while it's on a pipe, then we know that I've gotten this thing over 10 horsepower, and that should be a pretty solid competitor. The only competition I'm looking to do with this is the what do they call it? The bounty log at Sawfest. You know, got a great big log, an old vintage saw, and plowing through it. Hopefully we can do pretty good with it, but we're at the first steps. This is part 1, and onward. Hope you enjoy the journey. It'll take some time.